Welcome back, everyone, to the Pokemon Unite International Championships here for North America. NAIC welcomes the final stretch, and now we're in the Final Four. Semi-final number one about to happen on stage between two North American teams, Orange Juicers and Revelation.
That's right, it's the final stretch. Now it's the final stretch of the final stretch, the final stretch, as we're hitting in our final few matches. I'm excited, and you know, we just got to see some Orange Juicers. We're gonna see a little bit more Orange Juicers, but that's good. A lot of vitamin C, you know, there's a lot of people here. It's good not to get sick.
Exactly, pulp up fam out there, because Orange Juicers have been putting on an absolute show with this newly Worlds qualified Revelation team is certainly not here to mess around. Their game looked amazing, honestly. One of the most dominant games I think we saw in day number 2, so definitely a great best of 5 ahead of us.
There was a really high chance that there could have been a rematch here, of course. Nouns going down to Revelation way long ago. It feels like a year ago. It was probably about 24 hours ago. But we now get a completely new match, which is really cool. Both the teams that have eliminated Nouns now, which is sad to see them go, of course, but they are going to be at Worlds. So everybody, like you said, everybody here, they've got a Worlds qualification, they've got the travel awards, so really now it's for a lot of pride on the line and a good amount of money, because a lot of these teams have a big reason why they would love to win this tournament in particular, whether it's going to be a first time, a reigning champion, a clean sweep of all of the ICs throughout the entire season, which is such a cool storyline. We got to ask some of the other games if they've ever had that happen for them, because this might be the first time that's like ever happened for any game, and that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, certainly not in the same year. I think we had a few players in maybe the card game that have went on multiple international championship runs, but in the same year, I don't know. This is unprecedented. It's so exciting. Now, we wanted to take a look back at that last game just for a moment, because there was some crazy shenanigans that happened in that Orange Juicers versus Nouns matchup. Of course, we had two former members of TTV dueling in that match. We knew that it was going to be an exciting one, so there's a few moments I wanted to break down, specifically from game number 1. From Rayquaza onwards, it felt like the match was totally up in the air, where there were some really cool decisions made by Orange Juicers to kind of lock up that match. So whenever that's ready, we'll pull that up on screen, and I think we already got it. Okay, so let's take a look at this matchup. I'm going to start this off, and we are going to take a look. Now, watch out for that Snorlax on the top right-hand side. Zulgrug taking so much damage, does have that block to work with as they rotate all the way, and a heavy slam and a prayer is what ends up taking this Rayquaza. Blaziken already losing its overheat. So not having that available for cooldown becomes so dangerous, and OG makes a mad dash all the way back towards that goal zone, preserving that Rayquaza shield. That's going to be a theme in this final clip, by the way. Watch Eldegoss right here. Roland makes the decision to Unite move, Cotton Cloud Crash, a Unite move most famously known with the Rayquaza shield, to rapidly arrive at a goal zone. However, an incredible decision by Roland, stack those shields, preserve that big green bubble, and set up for a score later. We got this entire team rallying up, and then of course making the mad dash all the way up on the top side. There's a tier 1 goal zone, a whole lot easier to score. Now this is where things get wild. Let's slow-mo it. First off, we have the surf in from you. Flareon does not have intel where Bruv is. As soon as they spot them, returns Unite moves, giving invisibility over to Roland. Lapras not able to auto-attack this Pokemon during this time, and scores. And finally, watch out for the Blaziken on that tier 2 on a mad sneak, getting in 100 more points. And then last but not least, Zulgrug Snorlax, the absolute hero, scoring on the bottom path. So just really a wild amount of maneuvers to make that happen. Everything had to align, started of course by the Snorlax, but enough of that last match. Let's get into the next one. We have a very exciting head-to-head interview on our stage.
Hello everyone viewing from New Orleans and also from home viewing on all the social media platforms. We are getting to the end of day number 2. We are here at the semifinal rounds. We have Revelation going up against Orange Juicers. Make some noise for these two NA teams. We have Picadiff here from Revelation and rolling it down from the Orange Juicers. Let's go ahead and start with Picadiff here. You're going to be going up against the regional champions in the Orange Juicers. How are you feeling about this matchup?
We're feeling great.
Feeling great. Short and sweet. And coming here, you have been on a tear all weekend. Revelation has also been looking really, really strong, knocking out Daybreak and qualifying for the World Champions. 5 teams from NA. How are you feeling about this matchup?
Feeling pretty good. I'm tired.
Someone get this guy an energy drink. 2 teams looking absolutely incredible going over to Picadiff. If you're looking at these 5 members over here, which player are you most afraid of?
None of them.
Absolutely none of that. And then same question for you. Any player that you're going to be maybe targeting in this draft?
I'm scared of Sea-Dog, Celestial.
Sea-Dog. Alrighty, everybody, that is going to conclude our head-to-head interview. Can we get a handshake? Can we get a high five? Can we get a fist bump? All right, and back to the desk with you guys.
Feeling good. Feeling good. We need more interviews with Picadiff. They're short, and they're to the point, and they're good content.
And someone in the crowd gets a free plushie sometimes.
Yeah, every once in a while. Everybody should show up to all of the in-person events because maybe Picadiff will throw a plushie in your direction.
Yeah.
I did hear nobody caught it, which is pretty funny, but...
I saw someone retrieve it very quickly.
Okay.
I was in the audience. I was not within range. Some would say maybe I was. My jumping skill very strong, but unfortunately, just a little bit shy. Picadiff going for left field.
Well, you know what? You'll catch it next time. Yep. Some great teams out here. 2 great personalities, to be honest, and some pretty quick answers. I think that these players are really, really locked in.
Right.
I know that they did actually want to play against each other, but they are really close to the end here. And I think once you get to this spot, I mean, the winner of this match does not play again today. So essentially, this is the final match they have to lock in for if they win.
Yeah, a championship match does happen on Sunday. So this is a play for day number 3 of our tournament. A very exclusive club to be in. We only allow 2 teams invited to that day, as there's only 1 championship awarded. Orange Juicers, Revelation, both in their tournament performance today, looking like they are very eligible for that spot.
It's so exclusive, I think even we're not invited, to be 100% honest. That's how it works. But here we go, bans for our first game, and this will be, I believe, a 3 out of 5 set as we move into semifinals. So some targeted bans there. That Dodrio, certainly one of the most interesting ones.
Yeah, first time that Pokemon is banned in our tournament. So a hard call out to what Kratos has been playing in that central area just moments ago. Revelation gonna have a few options, but that Blaziken that was so phenomenal for Linear earlier is going to be banned by the very team themselves. That does mean Dispenza gets their hands on the Suicune though.
Oh, such a nice pick to be able to pick up as the first, or as like your second pick, essentially. Your first pick on the second side. There we go. Honestly, a very scary set of special attackers to be able to grab, but Flareon's potentially on the Mew. Okay, that one. Well, that's still up in the air. That's still potential as they switched around. Kratos picking up that Leafeon. Another great choice. I mean, you ban away that Dodrio and you just get another power pick.
So I have to admit, I was pretty surprised to see Revelation pick this Inteleon in that first pick spot over the Snorlax, which feels like such a phenomenal pick for Picadiff, and more importantly, you're taking it away from Zugrug, but this Inteleon was banned against Revelation back-to-back games in their quarterfinal matchup, but of course, Orange Juicers throwing a curveball and picking Leafeon Buzzwole in that second pick spot, meaning that Zugrug is going to return to the Lapras.
I feel like the Buzzwole was the most interesting pick there, where maybe you could have taken away that Snorlax instead, but I do really like the Lapras, especially considering the fact that there's the Inteleon on the other side, so maybe that was the entire point to begin with. But the Comfey, a very, very interesting pick. I'm assuming Actually, how are they going to split this up among their players?
Yeah, it's going to be a Psyduck attacker is what we are going to be looking at in this game. Very interesting. It will still have EXP share. I think Zugrak is going to enjoy getting their Unite move a little bit earlier on in this matchup. And we'll have Psyduck focusing, well, primarily on damage. However, item set, it almost like we're running 3 supports. I think that basically is the fair way to describe this composition. Starting with a Resonant Guard and a Focus Band, that is going to be definitely a team player on the Duck.
Well, there's not a lot of traditional tankiness on the other side, so the high amount of support might be an intentional choice just because they know that there's nothing they need to super burn down. And of course, if we're talking about supports, we don't have really a true support on the side of Revelation. So there's not going to be any healing or any like significant self-sustain. I mean, there will be some certainly, except for maybe the Snorlax using a Unite or something like that. So good. I like the draft strategy.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the interesting things about these non-healer compositions starting to become so popular. Things like Buddy Barrier on top of these, you have to be so preemptive with your Snorlax Unite move, where in the past you definitely had to play a little more defensive, try to play it a bit safer. Instead, now initiating a fight with a Buddy Barrier to back it up is a very viable strategy. But let's get into it, NAIC. Game number 1 of our semifinals, Orange Juicers versus Revelation.
Gotta see which of these teams will make it to tomorrow on the main stage for grand finals, and both these teams really want it. North America obviously putting on a pretty good show this weekend, aside from the fact that we of course just had the numbers qualifying for our 5th world spot, which is a ridiculous thing to say. But here we are. Which of these North American teams is going to come out on top?
A very interesting path matchup. Obviously, Buzzwole so strong as soon as we get access to that superpower, but they're going into a Suicune very early. That is so much crowd control, even for an Ultra Beast to have to deal with.
Well, you say that. We still haven't seen the Suicune yet, because over here, Flareon's with the invade. Well, technically the double invade now. And I mean, I would love to see just how that one's going. Gonna get some nice scores there. But yeah, look at this. Double buff I see on the Leafeon at the moment. I see only 1 buff taken in their own center area, so we can assume there was a steal.
Yeah, Kratos feeling great about taking all that EXP. The one backdrop is that they won't get any knockouts this early. They're loving to stack up that Excel Bracer, so going to be shallow on that. But of course, taking away both those buffs, so important, mostly because we still got a Kubfu on Celeste.
Yeah, that really needs to evolve. You can see it's kind of at the gatekeep spot where it's got a ton of the, like one big, either like a KO or one really nice wild Pokemon, and it could evolve just from that alone.
Not many of those left with Kratos on the case, taking yet another red buff. So Roland and Kratos on this tag team duo. Flareon sort of playing the backup all the way out here. Grassthorn hits multiple targets. Roland lines up a ton of damage. The Aegislash will be trying to join Lunaire, trying to get some of that EXP. But Flareons and Roland are going to be making the way out of the fight.
To be honest, Psyduck with a Comfey on it might be the most invincible thing in this game.
Yeah, it already was. It feels like, a cherry on top.
Yeah, you don't even need the Comfey at that point. But that is a great way to help Flareons just get out of there. Actually, more so it was helping Roland get out of there, right?
Yeah,
if we're being 100% honest.
Yes.
Picadiff very low, going down to the bottom path. It seems like everybody's going to kind of split up back to their paths, and not a whole lot to farm in the center for now. The Urshifu has evolved, and Flareon's once again just getting out barely, as is the classic with Psyduck.
Yeah, this has been so fantastic to keep Revelation's top path carry and central area in check, but reminder, just a Lapras and a Psyduck are not a lot to write home and secure, so Oblivion almost at level 7 already on this Inteleon, which they have apparently been infamous for in our tournament, even eliciting some bans.
Yeah, that's we just haven't gotten a chance to see it. It's just the knowledge, right, is everything. So we are going to see a pretty big push down here. The heavy slam landing into a beautiful snipe shot. Thank you for the example. Another snipe shot landing as nobody can quite get out of there. There's going to be a pretty significant amount of damage back, but it's mostly to Picadiff. Oh, we are going to see those Celestial get taken down, and that's a great counter KO, at least for the side of Revelation.
Cruel and unusual punishment from Kratos. They left those Razor Leaf up for so long so that Picadiff just barely thought they could have gotten away, but no such luck, neither for Lunaires. They also fall to this Leafeon, brought down by the Whirlpool, though, as they take that KO. KO. Snorlax to try to buy a little bit of time, but it's the Water Pulse from Lapras that takes it. Sweet Kiss bringing them both in. What a huge pull as Sugrug and Roland and Psyduck. They might be defenders, they might be supports, but they are absolutely causing some carnage.
Oh my goodness. This is looking really, really good as Pikachu is just like, please, leave me alone, you scary duck. This is a fight that probably won't end for a while. Oh, I really like this. Pikachu with some really great routing over into the center area, saying, you know what, if you're going to attack me, maybe you'll do a little bit of damage to your own Pokemon. Maybe I can steal it away. Maybe I'll just waste a little bit more of your time. And currently, still going for a little bit of a chill stroll. Finally put to sleep, literally as it lands from the heavy slam. Do like to see that. But in the meantime, Regieleki up top, not being really attacked quite yet. Lunar will be the first one there, Celestial as well. Regieleki getting burned down so quickly, and honestly that freeze from Dispenza is going to keep OG away pretty much in time to not even be able to challenge that last hit.
Kind of shocked OG didn't make a faster push. With no level 9 on the Aegislash, they don't have that coup de grace Unite for secure, but they do have that Emerald 2-step. Kratos pulling in all the way there, so the Sweet Kiss will be even more impactful. Does get knocked up by Pikachu. Roland absorbs that snipe shot. What a play from the Comfey. There's two. What amazing coverage. Just simply not allowing Oblivion to have value. That Leafeon is safe and sound with that Comfey behind him. Or around him? I don't know how to describe
around,
it.
behind, above, I don't know. But I've said this before, Comfey is it can be one of the lowest skill expression Pokemon in the game, but when you get to the highest level of Comfey, I think it's extremely high. I think the highest level of play of Comfey is amazing to see. I think the first time I ever really saw that and realized that in my brain was watching Inder play Comfey, and I'm like, oh, wow. Like, you can be so smart as a player on this Pokemon. When I play it, I'm AFK and I'm watching shows and I'm winning ranked matches, but that's not how you're supposed to play it. All right, a fight down on bottom as we're going to be pushing through.
Wow, OG having a perfectly timed eject button to dodge multiple sources of crowd control in that situation. They're able to bail. Big attack by Kratos. So again, that Comfey pocket doing them favors, but what a response from Pikachu. That buddy barrier really helping, not to mention the knock-up. And finally, Revelation gets a fight in their favor.
Sugrug coming in to try and defend, but once again, Snorlax is so good.
Yeah.
We've seen that all day. That's like a common thing for years, but standing behind the goal zone, pushing everybody back, saying you can't even try to defend this goal zone. You are physically incapable of reaching it, and doing a good job of breaking it, and they needed those points.
Imagine if he had goal zone hacker.
Oh, that's the new meta.
Yeah, they'd lose the match. Okay, we're going to be rotating up towards the Regieleki very soon, very likely. Orange Juicers obviously having a bit of an advantage in that way. The Tier 1 Gold Zone up near an objective gives you a safe place to retreat to, not to mention a bit of a quicker rotation, but it will be Revelation, the first ones to strike. OG, again, just playing very patiently, comfortable in their ability to defend against the Regieleki, ever defensive OJ.
Wow, they burned that down so incredibly quickly, and now I'm sure they want to just continue to burn down the enemy team. That's going to be one KO. Orange Juicers is going to lose OG as they're going to continue to push through. Kratos with the one currently with the Comfey on it is going to be jumping around, but Roland not going to be able to, I think, help them defend all that well. Not when you're using Grass Knot. There's going to be a double KO for Kratos. That's pretty good, at least at getting something. Flareon's trying to escape, does get KO'd. Can Celestial escape? Probably not, especially with Sugrug coming in as well. But oh my goodness, hold on a minute. Oh, that was an inch from winning that. Holy
jeez, yeah, you knock out the Leafeon, and obviously you got to deal with the Comfey right after. And normally, I think Dukesax would call that a BOGO deal. I don't think so when Roland's playing it right now. It is still a hot contention battle. But either way, Orange Juicers able to rally back. They do lose that gold zone, though. So with that transition, Revelation will gain the points momentum. 225 to 218, an extremely close match, but they are in the lead.
Oh, she just tossed the ball toy back and just kept walking. It was
Get
really funny looking. But Registeel now being challenged. Pikachu moving forward and just building space. Ooh, that snipe shot was an inch from connecting. A really good call, but they are just going to bring down this Registeel like they've been doing for pretty much every single objective to secure not super strong and Orange Juices. Registeel will go down once again to a snipe shot. Everybody getting caught in the middle. OG going down. Flareon's going to have to try and escape. Kratos really going greedy, trying to take down as many as they possibly can, but a great freeze is going to allow them to turn around. Unite coming out from the Comfey, and so they will escape, which is pretty amazing. Hold on, there's still a chance to catch. No, they are out of there, but That was scary.
Wow, Orange Juicers taking a terrible situation and making a pretty good scenario out of it. They do get 100 points in that tier 2. They had a Celestial versus Zugrug 1v1, went in the favor of Celestial, but we still got 100 points in. Rayquaza already halfway down. Aegislash in prime position right now, looking for the secure. Snipe Shot should be available, and it will go to Revelation. I mean, picture perfect positioning from that team.
That was exactly where you want to be. The secure power of Aegislash is one of the best things about that Pokemon. It just does everything.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, exactly how you wanted that to go. Flareon's sad in the pip, down on bottom, scoring their 8 points, turning into 16, while these, I don't know, 500 points turn into almost 1,000 from the side of Revelation. That was an awkward engage for sure. That's the best thing that I can say.
Yeah.
Like you said, Orange Juicers turned that situation into something pretty good for them, but Revelation turned that situation that wasn't as good for them into really good positioning.
Yeah, I'd say pretty good, but not great.
Yeah.
They're able to get dunks, but they do have to, Zugrug still has to recall after that. They used the Lapras Express to escape the Urshifu, so it's not like they could use it to rejoin the fight around the Rayquaza, so they don't have that big shield or the chance to rejoin the battle. Of course, that just gets really awkward after that. All of Revelation is 5 in the pit. Not only does that give them a great chance to secure, it also prevents Orange Juicers from being in position to body block the Inteleon. That is something that doesn't get talked about as often. Inteleon, if there's an enemy Pokemon in that Rayquaza pit, it's really tough for that Snipe Shot to work. But if your whole team's there, how are they going to even get in?
If I'm being honest, I will say I thought the coup de grace missed. I thought it auto-targeted something else. It went like horizontal, and it looked like it missed to me. We'll see it again probably in the replay if it goes that far. But yeah, great stuff to Revelation. I will say for sure, when I walked up for the interview, I saw the end of, the kind of the discussion at the end of game 2 for Orange Juicers in their last set, and Zugrug was standing there, and he was like, guys, we won, but we gotta play better. We have to play better. And none of them honestly seemed that happy. They seemed like they were like, okay, we're not satisfied with how we won that set. They said that they were still kind of getting warmed up. They said that they were not playing at how they felt was optimal. And so maybe they're still kind of in that spot. They said that was their first set of the day. They wish that they, maybe warmed up a little bit more. Revelation's been playing all day and beating good teams all day. So they are as warmed up as you could probably be.
Yeah, I mean, you can't write up a better early game for Orange Juicers with this very off-the-beaten-path composition. Also, a reminder, 2 supports and a defender does make things extremely awkward. In the early game, it was unbelievable. That Psyduck, Leafeon, Comfey triple invade was so solid. And okay, take a look at that. Dispenza just putting so much crowd control around
that looked like it missed. The coup de grace,
it did. I think they boosted auto.
Oh, really? It did actually miss. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't close. But Celestial does secure the player of the game with the Urshifu at 61,000 damage. I actually do think that fight around the Regieleki probably defined that matchup right before the Rayquaza spawns in. Celestial able to really use this Water Bear. We see it so infrequently, but able to dodge past a lot of those defenses. The big namesake of Lapras. A really, really solid thing for Celestial to pull off. And that Urshifu looks great, especially in its Surging Strikes form.